And welcome, everyone, as we are back here transmitting to you from the year 3000 with another episode of Here on the Waste, where we play Horizons Unknown After Earth RPG. My name is Scott, aka Mr. Shogi 3000, and we are back with our wonderful cast here for episode number 55. Thank you so much, Philly Goat Gaming, for... Oh, wow, man, you subscribed for 2 months, dude. Thank you so much, Philly. You are the man. We do truly appreciate it here. Unfortunately, I don't have any cool things like Burger Stream, like Kleenex boxes or anything like that. But you do have my great appreciation. No free pepper. Yeah. Right. No extension cords here, good sir. But either way, thank you so much for your continued support, dude. Truly, truly do appreciate it. We're here with our wonderful cast here. And we're a little bit behind. I do apologize. That was mainly my fault. I was just going over some stuff with our wonderful group. We're going to do introductions here as we always do. Starting off with Mr. Ryan, aka Ran118, playing Rev. How are you this evening, good sir?
I'm great, sir. Ready for another great night.
Excellent. Next up, playing Voldo, the amazing Mr. Mike. How are you this evening, good sir?
I'm hanging in there, man.
Excellent.
I'm still alive.
That's what we like to hear. That's what we like to hear. Good sir.
That's right.
Playing the amazing Sarge, aka Gideon Golden Hammer, Mr. Richard Garrett Keith. How are you this evening, good sir?
I'm doing good. Looking forward to seeing what the aftermath is of the last episode.
Ooh, indeed, indeed.
Dramatic episode.
It's the Twilight Zone. Before you know it, it's going to turn into it's going to turn into like something from the Ricky Lake show. Is it Ricky Lake? Yes.
Yeah,
Ricky Lake, Sarah Jesse Raphael. Who's that other person? Maury? Jerry Springer. Yeah, there we go.
Jerry Springer,
yeah. It's going to turn into like, my daddy left me when I was a kid. We're going to bring Richard Keith playing Gideon, and here's your kid, Miko. How are you doing today?
Nazi hookers stole my children when
Yeah,
they
exactly.
were too young.
Don't forget Montel Williams.
Montel Williams, there you go.
This was the equivalent of like a commercial break.
Yes, exactly. And of course, playing your favorite doctor. Only second to Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman. My brother from another mother, the good doctor, aka Shane. How you doing this evening, good sir? I don't know why you're like aka Shane. It's Shane, aka the doc. How are you doing this evening, good sir?
Well, it's because I've legally changed my name.
Oh,
to
have
Dr.
you?
Mars,
Oh.
And it's my new license is coming soon. Passport, if you will.
Nice.
Excellent.
And I am going to pull that move. I just realized I did the Miyagi move. I will do that at some point to heal. I think we should add that to my abilities.
I think we should. Absolutely.
Yeah, the Miyagi heal.
You are, though, at this point, you're pretty much more machine than anything. So I can't imagine the sparks that would fly off if you started rubbing the friction that would just go. You would start a fire and then just like burn somebody. Third degree.
Healing sparks.
There you go. The eternal healing flame of the good doc. All right. Well, everyone, we are going to jump into this evening's episode. We have only tonight's and one more that will end this season. And then again on October 30th, stop by for the one-off Halloween special, where we will have a wonderful guest with us. And again, it's completely one-off, but it's going to be with these characters, so it's going to be a lot of fun. Tonight's episode is called A Cup of Revelations and a Shot of a Vision. When we last left our group, they had reached a small little treetop village called Oskin Prime, following a young, about 11, 12, 13-year-old boy named Hanamo and his robot named Zoso. They led you to Oskin Prime, which was relatively off the beaten path from the path that you had been on for quite some time, as well as Holin telling you that this is the path to get you to the Bridge of Balor, which will allow you to cross over and get out of the jungles of Zealandia themselves. Unfortunately, the weather had gotten really, really bad, and a torrential storm was essentially impeding your progress, as well as Hanamo telling you that there's a bit of a territorial gang fight, if you want to put anything like, between the Spindlers and the Winged Kazari, just to the north of you. So he takes you and leads you over to his home called Oscan Prime, and immediately you meet most of the inhabitants and residents, young children, older people, middle age. You probably get the sense it's probably no bigger than maybe 100, 125 people in total population. They've done their best to protect themselves in almost a weird cage-like environment, which allows them to protect themselves from obviously anyone that is outside of the jungles themselves, as they found their way to create as much of a life as they possibly can within this very hostile environment known as the jungles of Zealandia themselves. They took you up to the top where you met an older gentleman who introduced himself as Rickson. He goes further to tell themselves that his last name is Rickson Crumb, and that his brother is a Alistair Crumb that you had already met back in Brimlow. Alistair even telling you that maybe going to Vea might be your best shot at some other possibilities, as Lumina themselves was falling more and more into the darkness of the hand of the Bandit King, aka Marvis Falcorn. At essentially his tent, if anything, very exorbitant, very nicely decorated, very ornate, you get a sense that it's even a bit of like his own little temple, probably a place there where he sits and resides, and him being an oracle and a seer, very much like his brother, probably stays there for hours and hours at a time. You get a sense that when you did take a look at him as well, that he doesn't seem to be one that is, if anything, he doesn't seem to be you get the sense that he probably isn't very mobile at this point in his life. He probably has the others help him, as well as probably provide meals and handle most of the other day-to-day activities. And pretty much he's just an elder. But he does welcome you to around his fire. And he immediately draws himself to Gideon and kind of tells the story. That's something that Gideon had been secretive, even had forgotten about for quite some time in his life. Something that he completely blocked out, that was news to all of you. And that simply was that he had two children, one named Miko and the other one named Walter, and that they were given up by Gideon. And Gideon, during the time when you really think about it, you remember that, again, your wife had just died, and that you were a soldier, and that these children deserved a better life than a soldier's life, that you were in no position to raise them. So you left them to an old friend, the old friend being Alistair Crumb of the Pillars of the Lost Dawn. Alistair then tells you that he then passes down the children to his brother, Rickson. And then Rickson leaves the children under the protection and tutelage of someone that they truly believed was the one that they could trust the most. And that was to their mother. When he goes off to tell you that their mother, named Moraine Halliford, who was a prime sage in the Pillars of the Lost Dawn, essentially one of the elders. The first of her kind, as she was the first and only female to ever reach such stature. She was somebody that was, you even remember, Sarge, hearing about her. And the doc, you might have heard about her as well. She was someone that was highly respected. Very, very knowledgeable. But then she was a name that was there, and all of a sudden she wasn't. No one could ever tell you whatever happened to her. And what you ended up finding out is Moraine Halliford ended up becoming the Whisper Queen. That she was a woman that delved too dark into other paths, other powers. And in doing so, she was just trying to find her way to stop death, to turn back time. That's probably, she was around 80, even maybe more, when Walter and Miko were placed into her tutelage. You don't know much what happened after that, but these are the stories that he tells. You don't exactly know if you can even believe the words that are coming out of Rickson. But there's something deep down inside you, Sarge, that absolutely makes you want to believe, at least. As he merely kind of looks at you, and as last as you heard the voice of old Thendrin in your head, telling you to keep us away from him. The elder takes a look at you and immediately recognizes that you're battling something. But then he turns his head and he looks to the rest of the group. And he just merely goes, "What brought you here? Anyways, if you don't mind me asking."
Rev kind of looks around to his group and he says, "We've been fighting on Lumina for months, maybe even years. We lost some time. The Bandit King, the Whisper Queen, they're too strong. We were told by Alistair our best bet of finding help might be here in Vea."
My brother told you to come here. He's a foolish brother.
Well, do you know of all that's happening over on Lumina?
I've heard things, yes. It's half the reason why I'm here. And
Well,
not
if you're
there.
here, you know that things aren't good there, and we're trying to find some way to make it better. That's why we're here.
He looks at each one of you and and you get the sense that he's looking at you as, are you confirming what Rev is saying when he speaks these words? And what would you convey back? He says it without words, but you get a sense that he wants kind of a story from each one of you. He looks at you, Voldo. What brings you here?
I'm not sure what you've heard, but that whole place it's changing. You can say that.
The world is changing, child.
Yes, but this one comes with a lot more death.
I understand. And what brought him here? Is that what brought you here?
I'm just following this group of people. I want the war to end, obviously. And that's why I'm here. I got a wife now. I got somebody to care about.
A wife? You left her back in Lumina.
I met her on our travels, and she's here.
And he looks at you and he just goes, "Who?"
sure where Danny is, but I'll point to Danny.
And he looks at you. He just goes, "A Sardarin wife?
Yep.
Oh,
Seems kind of a big deal out here.
my heavens! That does not happen much in these world." And he looks at you. He just goes, "Good for you."
What guy?
He looks to you, Doc. He just goes, "You seem as old as me. Would I be wrong?"
Not at all. Not at all. Good eye.
Why are you here then? We're past our parts in these things. This is left for the younger generation.
That's true. That's very true. I definitely didn't see myself making it this far. That's for sure. I just happened to run into these guys and just decided to take a mission, and it turned into quite a journey. Quite a journey. And I'm really still trying to figure out what I'm doing. I feel like a lot of what I did in my past has been perverted and turned into some harmful things, and it's been serving the enemy. Things that I've built, things that I've introduced to this new world, and I feel like I have gained a new purpose, if you will, to try my best to change that a little bit, maybe.
Oh, do you have
reconcile.
a wife as well? They always seem to give purpose.
Yeah, they do, but no, I don't.
Understood. Gideon, why are you here? What brought you down this path to Vea?
I think you cut out a little bit. You may not know that you said him.
Yeah, was that Gideon? I think it was Gideon you said.
Gideon. Keep staring at the thing, Gideon. It only becomes more awkward.
Oh,
He merely asks you the same question. The reason why are you here?
okay. I feel like the past, it's a specter that seems attached to me. I feel like it's inevitable that I would have arrived here. And considering the recent revelations.
Inevitable. You speak of fate? Destiny? For you to come here, why? To meet me? And for me to tell you the truth?
I feel that is correct.
Interesting. Have you all known each other for quite a long time?
Not that long, although it feels like a long
Feels
time.
like it's been a long time.
How long has it been, like, technically?
How long is it technically?
Yeah, I don't like, in game.
Probably closing on a year and a half, 2 years.
Okay.
I get a sense that you're each here searching for answers. Is that fair?
Guess that depends on the question.
Maybe looks at you and just goes, oh, that's a good one. Snappy repartee. Yes, it's all about the questions. It always has been. And I have a feeling that each one of you has questions that you would like to ask. I do get a sense that each one of you as well are quite unique. And I don't speak about your professions. That is your history. That is your secrets. I will not ask more about those things. But I get a sense that you each carry something here as well. And he kind of turns his eyes to Gideon. You, more than the others, unfortunately. You are bound. Not a good position to be in. I'm not sure how you got yourself into that pickle.
Bound. What does that mean?
Pact.
I told you guys.
Rev just kind of shakes his head.
Wait, there was what? A pact, you said?
Yes.
You got a pact.
He looks to Gideon and just goes,
Oh.
You created a pact, did you not?
Gideon, in the back of his mind, he's still thinking of Fenderin, like in his words of saying, don't, like, keep him away from us. But Gideon, he just turns to him and he says, he that I'm bound with is a very formidable foe.
Of course he is. They are all formidable. They are the one of the 12. And he looks to each one of you and he just goes, interesting. The 12 were supposed to be scattered and lost. And here are 5 individuals who all have one. 6, including me. How interesting.
Rev kind of looks around. He's like, I thought there were only 4 of us.
Yeah.
That's a
Who
good
has the
point.
5th?
I was counting the people on the screen, that's including me. Like that other guy in the corner. Oh, that's me. Sorry.
I thought maybe Jaina had one too. I was like, Jaina?
I know.
I know, like, 2 more clothing? Okay, cool.
I apologize. I just looked at the screen. I'm just like 5 people. Okay, go with it. Yeah, I meant to say math. Yeah, we're back to math again. 4 people, 5 including me.
So you have one too.
Of course, I have one.
Show me yours. I'll show you mine.
That sounds dirty.
Rev goes, everything he says sounds dirty.
Understood.
Who else do you know of that has one, Mr. Crumb? Does your brother have one?
No, he does not. He passed his along to me.
And have you spoken to the soul of the weapon? Do you know who it is?
He merely looks at you with a curious and yet quizzical look, and then immediately starts to smile. He just goes, and he looks to Rev, and he looks to Voldo, as well as Danny, even though Danny seems disinterested with the conversation in general. He just goes, have you all spoken to yours? Usually, you have to have been touched in order to be able to speak to essentially souls. He doesn't seem to be touched kind. Forgive me, good doctor. I just don't get any sense of any mystical abilities from you.
Well, I think you're pretty spot on there, Mr. Crumb.
It's the same for Gideon as well, unfortunately, but he made a pact.
Well, and it's a relatively new development for all of us. We had no
Interesting.
idea. We had no idea until this pact started to rear its ugly head.
He looks at you and he just goes,
I've had one for a while.
"Oh, have you?"
Before this one, I had his, and yeah, that was fun.
Did you really?
I had it, to be honest.
No, it wasn't fun.
Rev's like, I'm glad you don't have it.
He looks at you even more like interested. You've actually wielded 2 soul tech weapons? Quite,
Rev
quite
actually wants to ask,
interesting.
Is it wielding a weapon when it's slowly turning him into somebody who tries to kill his own friends?
Oh,
Sounds like the weapon was wielding him.
one
more
of
than he was wielding the
those.
weapon.
one
Tomato,
of those. Interesting. Well, it's easy for that to happen. The weapons themselves were created to grant great power. But the souls that are embedded in them were strong in life as well. So they could easily overpower your will if their will is stronger. Usually it takes time and training to be able to wield one. They have been told to have been lost, and those who had training have all since but died. Except for me. But time will come for me soon enough. If you don't mind me, and humor an old man, I see one of them.
Yeah.
I'm not pulling him out.
Rev will take his Callisto's Edge and just kind of present it, hold it out in front of him.
He doesn't.
And he's going to say, "This is Callisto." He's actually going to say, its name.
Interesting. Okay. He merely looks at you, and he, out of respect, he doesn't touch. And he kind of takes a look at it, and he just goes, "Interesting." And he puts out his hand over it, probably like this high off, like the handle itself. And you can feel that the weapon starts to get like a low-grade hum and kind of reverberate in your hand a bit. And immediately, he kind of swipes his hand over the top, and ancient language runes start to pop up across the top that are just glowing in orange, that were not there previously.
Yeah, Rev is transfixed. He can't believe this.
He merely looks and he just goes, "Good doctor." He just goes, "You seem an educated man.
Want me to translate?
Would you mind translating for an old man?"
Absolutely.
Go ahead and make
Somebody
your
go over.
decipher languages.
Is that a D12?
Yes, sir.
Because it's not necessarily. Well, it's a skill that I have.
Yeah, just go ahead and use the skill.
Okay.
You're not in any stressful environment, so just 4, 5, 6, just to make it
Okay.
happen. Oh, well, whatever. That's fine.
Oh,
That's okay. What you read to him that is actually written in this ancient language, which really isn't all that ancient if you really think about it. When you take a look at it, Doc, you're just like, it's just an old language. That's probably maybe 200 or 300 years old at this point. And it says, "Callus Toyani. Rank 12. Transcendence Program Alpha Mark 1. Saldarin.
Can you say that again? Kalis Toyani, rank 12.
Kalis Toyani. Rank 12. Transcendence Program Alpha Mark 1. Saldarin.
Wow. Okay.
And he looks at you and just goes, excellent work, Doctor. So, what is bound inside your blade is the soul of a Saldarin.
Doc wants to see if he can.
Hey,
pull
glad
up
to have you back,
something
Philly.
on his-
Go ahead.
I'm gonna skin my knife of endless skies, and I'm gonna just basically rest it on my palm and ask him if he can bring up anything on mine.
You like to see that
Can-
trick again?
Can Rev, as they're doing this, can he try to remember when he like saw that girl in his mind,
Mhm.
if she looked Saldarin to
No.
him? I assumed she looked human when I saw
She
her.
looked
Is that
human.
right?
Mhm.
Okay. Good. That's just going to be in his head, so he's like kind of confused right now as he considers this.
If you can, would Rev be outwardly fixated on this, or even confused, or is this something that he's just processing in his head?
When the doc translate it, he's just reading it, right? He's not like
Yes.
making any commentary. He's just kind of
No.
reading.
Yeah. He's just reading off what he sees in this glyph-like language.
Rev would probably, when he hears Saldarin, say, like, Saldarin? Like, questioning. He would just kind of say that out loud. Saldarin.
He just, as he's having this interaction with the doc, he merely looks back to you and he goes, yes, Saldarin, like your friend, his wife.
Rev actually will now say out loud, Callisto's a little human girl.
He merely looks at you and just goes, oh, interesting. That's how she chooses to present herself to you. Might be a way for you to be more comfortable with her. To know someone that you are familiar with.
Rev's just trying to process this. He's confused now.
He looks to the dock and he waves his hand over the top of yours. The same glyphs and runes appear on the blade. And what you read is Delia Toyani, rank 6, Transcendence Program Bravo Mark 1, Saldarin. Interesting. A rank 12 and a rank 6.
And rank 9.
You have a rank 9?
I do.
Might I see it?
Starts talking though. You're gonna want to put him away quickly.
Understood. A chatty one, huh?
Very.
Okay. If you want to do it, or if anything, if you're just curious to see if anything pops up.
Yeah. I think I know what it's gonna say, but might as well see.
Okay. So immediately as you reach in, you pull out, and he's just like, "Hey, bud! It's been a while. Oh my god! Who's the old man? Lots happened. I've been hanging out here, and it's been real cold." And you put it back in. You would have. He goes, wait a minute, come on, we were just gonna go.
Just gonna take a deep breath.
The military just goes, oh boy. I understand what you mean by chatty.
Very.
Sorry, I wasn't able to move fast enough, but you got a live one there. Excellent.
No way to get it stop from talking.
How did you each come into possession of one? Quite curious.
Rev actually looks over at the sergeant and said, "Well, Sergeant St. John just gave me this. I don't know where they found it."
St. John's equally confused about the whole thing at this point. He thought it was just a weapon that was passed on. As far as you know, Sarge, you just thought it was a weapon that was passed on as well. You had no idea. You didn't even know what a Soltech weapon was. So they presented this to you. How interesting. And you've talked to the spirit within.
Only just recently I've wielded this weapon since I met them a year and a half ago. I only just talked to her for the first time yesterday. Had no idea.
Continue to keep cultivating that relationship, Rev. They would only evolve and get stronger.
What does this rank mean? Do you know what that
Easily
signifies?
1 through 12. You have the weakest one.
Okay.
He kind of reaches out, pats you, and he goes, "We can't all be winners." What about you, Doctor? Have you spoken to yours as well?
I don't believe I've ever spoken to an inanimate object in my life, and up until just yesterday, I had no idea.
You have no idea about Soltech weapons, then, do you? They are not inanimate objects. They have life.
I've heard rumors. There are legends. There are, there's definitely history on them. But I didn't realize that I had one. I probably should, in hindsight, given what happens when I use it, or the few times I've tried to use it.
You know of its power.
I don't think I know the half of its power, to be honest with you. But an interesting thing happened. I tried to get rid of it, and I couldn't. Every time I threw it, it would end up right back where it was holstered, right here.
Interesting. Yours wants to be kept.
I just happened to find it. I believe it was on a, what was it? The Shuttermoth, I believe, or the...
Yeah, that's where you found it.
We were doing some repairs or trying to get it to work, and it had been stashed somehow. Kind of tucked underneath the old dashboard, if you will.
It was meant to be found by you.
Interesting. Well, come to find out, it's a sibling of Rev's.
Yes. How interesting. Almost never
Very
happens.
Interesting.
How siblings could have survived the process. Very interesting.
I've heard of a lot of experiments in my years, and I can imagine that whatever it was that caused the result of these weapons has to just be... I'm trying to wrap my head around it, Mr. Crumb.
I only learned about it.
Sounds like some really sick stuff.
Unfortunately, it was not the most humane part of our existence. I read about it long ago in our great libraries. Secretive things, unfortunately. But unfortunately, that seems to be what our history of mankind is built upon, in one way or another. Secrets and lies, unfortunately.
Do you think there are forces, if you will, or beings that are trying to find these? Is there any benefit to having more than one or having them all? Is there an ultimate? Do they grow stronger in numbers
They
if
do.
they're closer in proximity?
Some do. Some fight against everything, as is the one that Gideon has bound himself to. But sometimes that's just the story of the spirit that dwells within. What do you
And they're all
know
aware.
of these weapons, anyways? The history.
Well, I was going to ask, are they all? They all know each other exists. They're all aware of each other.
They were all part of the same program, the same experiment.
What is the program?
Evolution Transcendency Program. 1,200 volunteers. Only 12 survived.
Were they all kids?
No. They were merely volunteers that allowed themselves to be infused with pure concentrated Manari.
Were they also Darren?
No. None were supposed to be Saldarin.
How did it happen? How did two become? How is it that there are two Saldarin?
It's safe to say that maybe not all were volunteers.
End goal create weapons.
What was that again?
What was the end goal of creating all these weapons?
To create weapons that could evolve and grow, and to grow stronger, and to create an ultimate force that would be able to handle anything. That the weapon would grow with the wielder. And each
Rev
one of
wants
you
to
has one.
The other
As-
weapons are have heard rumors or anything?
What was that?
Have you heard rumors of where the other weapons might be?
I have no idea. I never expected to ever see any other ones ever again in my lifetime.
Can they be destroyed?
Anything can be destroyed.
Are there evil ones?
They are not all evil. They just have stronger wills than others. What were you going to say,
Rev asks.
Brian?
Rev wants to ask: Is there a way to free the soul that is bound to these weapons?
No. That is the life that they chose. They each did it willingly.
But you said the Seldarns might not have been volunteers.
Unfortunately, for them, maybe not. But if anyone was ever part of the program, it's easy to say that they didn't have much life to give when they signed up. If you understand what I am inferring to.
Were these all terminal patients or something?
It's one way of putting it, yes.
What
Well,
about
you
the
say-
Doc's weapon?
What
Not
about
the
the
Doc, I'm sorry. The Sarge's weapon.
Unfortunately, the same. Unfortunately, his has a much stronger will than the others. I don't even know what rank it even is. What was that, Mike, again? I'm so sorry.
How do we break the will of his weapon?
And he looks to Gideon. And he just goes, the only way that you're going to make it is you will have to make it bend to your will. To free yourself of it and the pact, you will have to fight it. To bend it to your will, you will have to defeat it. The souls that are bound to the weapon itself are not evil, but some want other things. And they will find and prey on those who have weaker wills, or in a time in their lives where they can easily be swayed or broken. They will find your weakness. They will shatter it. Are you prepared to do what it takes to survive this? That was a question to Gideon.
Oh, okay. Gideon, he says, to be quite honest, I fear myself in my past, but I feel like I pulled through in the past. I think I can do this.
And he merely looks at the rest of you guys. To just got to get a sense of when you hear his words, what do you guys think? What do you guys feel? What are your outward emotions?
Rev is dubious.
Mm,
He has not seen a lot of strength in the Sarge since they've met up, basically.
sure. Voldo?
I don't know. I mean, I'd say he's feeling like slightly indifferent about the whole thing because, like, this is just the next thing we have to do.
Sure.
But, because my memories are, I don't know how much of my memories I have about that story. So I feel like if he
Yeah.
realizes...
Yours is a bit fractured.
Yeah. I'm not sure if he's, like, angry, like, if there's enough memory there to where he'd be angry about it.
Sure. Right.
But, yeah,
Okay.
halfway there.
Doc?
Now, was he asking this to all of us?
He's looking at you all to get a sense of what is your outward reflection of the words that Gideon is speaking. He's trying to get a sense of is there a relative, like a support structure that is here for Gideon, or is Gideon on this ride to hell on his own?
I feel like if we leave here, the weapon should be left here. I don't feel like Sarge should leave with the weapon and be with us.
I'll trade him. I'll break that guy as well.
Do you? I'm guessing is this being said? You telling me this out loud, or this is just what your inward mind is thinking?
In his mind. Like,
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
All right, yeah, in my mind, but I'm going to kind of direct my statement toward the Sarge in a roundabout way, and I'm gonna just say, Sarge, or I'm gonna just say, Mr. Crumb, I believe that Sarge has every intention and every belief that he's strong enough.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't feel that Sarge. I don't feel that that this is the right pairing, if you will.
Oh, okay. Sarge, what are your feelings on that? Let's
But the
admit.
Sarge
Let's
goes-
admit it. That hurts your pride.
Yeah, well, he knows
And I'm
that.
talking about the weapon, of course, and
That's
Sarge.
that's not how you phrased it.
With
I don't know
Sarge
how else to-
knows, like, he knows the darkness of this weapon, like, but like in the back of his mind, he's curious about like what's compelling Fendon to want to feed.
Fendon.
Oh, Fendon, yeah.
Okay, I mean.
But
whatever.
at the same token, he knows that the whole purpose of trying to control this weapon is to protect the innocent and the and his compatriots. So he understands that for the safety of the group, he should probably leave this weapon behind
Interesting. Okay.
until he knows more about Fendon, or like how he could possibly. He has to know how he can control. He needs intelligence on how to control the weapon.
Sure.
I'm gonna disagree that we should leave it behind. Like, regardless of, the trouble we have controlling it, like, it's a great weapon to have, and we're probably gonna need it in the upcoming battles. So I feel like we should figure out how to break that guy's will and, make him an asset.
Danny immediately squeezes your hand and kind of gives you a look like, yeah, good job. Be more assertive.
I'm gonna just say, yeah, sounds like somebody's jonesing for his old knife, or his old sword.
I feel like you're more of a Teddy guy anyway.
Oh, okay. Sarge.
I'm gonna ask Valdo.
Mhm.
And it's somewhat tongue in cheek.
Okay.
But as I'm saying it, it makes a little more sense. Hey, Valdo, what about giving it to Danny?
That's not a bad idea. I could work with that.
You think she can handle it?
Yeah. Maybe
This is true.
that could be something. Maybe Kira's right as well. Maybe you just need someone to believe in it.
Well, Rev perks up at that because when Voldo was last tempted by the thing and they were trying to contain it, it was Danny's strength that helped stop it.
True.
So Rev is actually like all of a sudden looking over at the dock like, now that might be something.
Okay. Sarge, you're hearing all this and they're having this conversation as if you're not there.
I believe in Kira.
And then you hear
Sorry, Kira.
you hear Thendrin just go, they think you're weak. They all have one. What makes them so good? Let's be honest.
Still have Teddy. Just want to make sure that he knows that that's the thing.
What makes Rev so good? What makes the doc so good? We all know about Voldo. I gave him a gift. The voice pulls out away as you feel a hand on your shoulder, and it's the hand of Rickson. And Rickson just goes, maybe you have the strength, maybe you don't. But I'll be honest with you, Gideon. I like to believe in you, even if they don't. But the choice is still yours. Tell me when you're ready and prepared. Either way, we have to free you of this. And it's going to hurt. My question is to you all. Do you let him take this challenge on his own?
No, regardless of his choice. We're gonna help him out.
Yeah.
I know
Rev
what
says,
that sword did to me. I'm gonna whoop it.
I'll lend what strength I can.
Doctor?
I know what this man's capable of. And I definitely want to support him for sure.
Excellent. I need each one of you, if this is going to happen, to move closer to me. We're going to join hands around the sergeant here. And Sergeant, when you are ready, we will proceed with the cleansing.
Before that happens, I want to hand Teddy over to Danny.
Okay. How do you do that?
It's currently in my it's like is it my pocket like thing? I don't
It's
know.
never been in your
I think-
pocket. The only person
Okay,
who
yeah,
actually
Take
has
it out.
who has it physically on them is Rev and the good doctor.
Doc.
Then I'll take it out of that, but I'll unsheath Teddy because I want to let him know what's going on.
Okay. So
Yeah,
you
I
reach
don't
back into your pocket of space and time, and you pull it out, and you hear it just goes, "Hey, buddy, what's the deal? What is the deal with you? You're like back and forth. Sometimes you're warm with me, sometimes you're cold with me. Actually, let me repeat it. Most of the times you're just cold. Like I'm not really feeling you right now. Put me back
I
in."
know, you know what? And I feel okay. Well, I mean, I was gonna just try to talk to you and let you know that I like you. You're a great knife. You're a great guy.
Right?
But I feel like my wife.
Are you breaking up with me?
I am breaking up with you, Teddy.
Are you breaking up with me?
It's not you. It's me. It's just I just. can't
You
really,
you damn right it's you.
I'm more of a quiet guy, and you're pretty talkative. and
What's
you're
wrong with
so
what's wrong with open communication? Maybe
Oh,
you should
that's-
try it as well.
I definitely.
Hey
would like
Rev,
to.
hey Rev,
If
what
I
do you
could
think
do
about
it,
this?
yeah.
What do you think about this? This guy's trying to break up with me.
Rev's like, I am not getting in the middle of a lover's tiff. I don't.
What about you, Doc? You want to break up with me too?
Oh,
Is this like the-
jeez.
Is like some kind of intervention, some kind of breakup party with Teddy?
I'm more curious as what Foldo wants to do with you.
Give it to Danny. Give him to Danny.
What do you want to give me
Oh,
to
I
Danny?
see. So you
Why do you
want
wanna
to
give me to
reunite with
her?
Well, I feel like
I get the
you
sense that
guys
she doesn't like me.
benefit from each other's. I don't see why she wouldn't. I mean,
I know why you want to give it away.
all kinds. She's a super kind-hearted person.
Wait a minute. Wait. Why does he want to give me away?
Well, I mean, you.
Immediately he starts
Oh,
to
I don't
he
know.
tries
I-
to pull
I-
himself toward. Come on, Doc. What? Give me the lowdown.
Let's just say that Danny's not his only one true love. I
Oh,
think Danny's either 1 or 1A, depending on the frickin'.
I know
Time
what
of
this is
day.
about. I know what this is about. You're looking for other ones here, huh? You're trying to upgrade an old Teddy, huh?
I ain't trying to C-block, but my God.
I'll take number 10 or 11. I'll take 10 or 11 at this point. It's cool. It's just we don't really work with each other's.
What do you mean we don't really
style.
work? We haven't even done anything.
Well, I remember.
We haven't even
when
gotten to
you-
first base.
I remember when you killed me. So.
I don't
that's
remember that at all.
I know. See, that's another thing. Your memory problems. This is never going to work. Conversations.
Okay, so what you're saying is you want to break up with me because maybe at one point you didn't dodge.
No, it's because you killed me.
Okay, so you're saying, look, and you're hearing, Jesus goes, listen,
Exactly.
everybody who's in here, everybody, you guys are all my witnesses. You're telling me that I stuck myself into old Voldo here and killed him. Is that what you guys... Are we all in? Under the belief that that's what happened? Is that what Teddy
I
did?
was like, I don't think that happened. I don't
Excellent.
remember.
Thank you, Rev. Case in point. Doc?
I mean, that sounds a little too dramatic.
Exactly. That's two to nothing here. 2 to nothing here. Sarge?
It's your fault I died.
Sarge?
Here we go.
So I'm just hearing Fendon going, Teddy, Teddy.
Exactly.
Keep you away from Teddy in the back of my head.
Exactly. It's 3-0.
All right.
So this seems to be more of a you problem than it is a me problem.
It
Okay.
is. Once again, it's not you, it's me. It's not you, it's me.
Okay, so you're just gonna pass me. You're gonna pass me on, right? That's what you're gonna do to old Teddy.
I wanted to talk to you and see if you wanted to. I
And-
was going to throw you away, but
Oh, okay, okay,
that part was in my head.
okay. Immediately, your hand freezes over, and it's a complete ice block. He just goes, "You're not getting rid of me at all now. It's you and me to the end, unless you cut your own arm off."
All right, let's go ahead and just sheath him at this point, or wrap him in a blanket. It's all I can do.
Do you have a blanket? Listen, you're not gonna shut me up, buddy.
I'll take off my cloak and just start rapping.
And you're not gonna shut. It just continues to go on and on for as long as you have him wrapped up in there.
Yeah. So yeah, Danny, I'll take him, and if he wants to deal with her, she wants to deal with him.
The question is does Danny even want to take him?
I feel like she would.
You feel like she would?
No, she does. She does.
Really?
But
What leads you to believe that she wants anything to do with a Soltech weapon?
Is this your pillow talk? You've been talking about Teddy?
You're like, is your pinner just go, Teddy, Teddy.
I would assume she wants.
Osmosis, Teddy, Teddy. What was it?
I would assume she wants it because she's a weaponsmith. And
Okay.
One of the 12 legendary weapons.
Okay, I mean, what is the pitch that you are providing to Danny in order to take Teddy?
I didn't want to have to pitch it to her. I'm just gonna ask her that. I don't know. I'll ask her, do you have any problems with taking this? Do you want to take Teddy at all?
Make a persuasion, make a slick talker check to her with risk level low because she is your wife.
Is
So
that
it's a
12?
D12. Yep.
Yeah. 9.
Okay.
That's gotta be good, right?
You give her enough after she kind of hears the talk of Soltech weapons from.
I'll give her like the lovey eyes too.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Raise
I didn't
that
know-
up to a full.
Wow. Okay. Well, that. Jeez. She merely looks at you, and it's apprehensively that she is willing to accept it. Mainly because she knows it's something that's relatively out of her league. In regards to these weapons, but because you convince her enough and you give her the lovey-dovey eyes, she undoes the wrap-ins and you hear, what is this? Well, come on. Like, now you're like trying to shut me up. And she puts her hand over the top and immediately the ice freezes and you hear him just go, oh, whoa, who's the dame?
This is Danny, my wife. This is who I was going to give you to if you were okay with it. But I can tell that you just really don't want to.
Yeah, he just goes, yeah. Enough talk. You and me, we're done. Hey, how's it
Really,
going,
Teddy?
Danny? My name's Teddy.
All right, I'm just going to go ahead and hand this off to him.
And
There you go, Danny. Enjoy your new night.
immediately, Danny grabs hold of it. She smiles and she sheaves it into time and space. She kind of looks at all of you and she just goes, I'll deal with him later.
Sounds good.
Good luck.
She
Dave.
immediately looks at you, though, and she just goes, I'm doing this for you. So
Thank you.
don't think about asking for the other weapon.
Oh, no, don't worry about it. I'm okay with that. It's all you, honey.
Thendrin's in your head just going, ha 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 ha, good old Teddy. But keep us away from him. We want nothing to do with him. I'm not talking about the old man, Sarge. I'm talking about Voldo. He's going to try to take me from you. And you promised me his hand.
His
Immediately,
hand got frozen.
well, it thaws out the moment that Danny touches him.
Oh, yeah.
So you're no longer bound to Teddy. I will tell you now that that the way these things work, Voldo, is any weapon that you have been bound to and you let go or has been taken from you, you can never get them back.
Fair enough.
The way it works is you're essentially severing a friendship, a relationship with it. You can never ask for Teddy back. You can never get Thendrin.
It was worth it to get rid of Teddy.
Nice.
As this happens,
That's great.
after this back and forth here, the elder brings you in. He just goes, now that we have that out of the way, quite
Okay.
interesting. He kind of like leans into you, Rev. He just goes, those two are really married?
Rev's like, don't even ask.
Oh.
You don't want to know about his relationships. He's just looking at Voldo.
Not gonna
like,
ask.
shaking his head.
For some
Mr.
reason.
Crumb,
Yes.
does this mean that Danny now has to join hands? Am I safe to assume that it was the weapon holders that are gathering around Sarge?
And he just goes,
Thought it was everything.
oh, that's a good point. We could use her power as well, if she'd be willing to enter the circle.
She's willing.
Okay.
She'll shyly come forward.
As that happens, Gideon, you feel extremely, extremely, extremely uncomfortable. Okay? You start to break out in hard sweats at this point. And you can just feel just a fluctuating surge of power that is there, like a lightning bolt, and then disappears. And then a lightning bolt, again, it's actually just causing your heart to like race. As you put yourself in the middle of the circle, right before the fire. As each of you join around him, Rickson motions for one of the robed women to come forth, and she brings an hourglass. And he takes the hourglass into his hand, and he just goes, when you are all ready, I need you to focus your spirit and your blessings and your good intent directly into the sergeant here. And Sergeant, I need you to just focus on the fires of the flame in front of you. He takes the hourglass and he holds it up and then immediately removes his hands, and the hourglass merely hovers there. And immediately the hourglass turns over. And the sands through that hourglass start to speed up and move through the narrow part quite quickly. And as the more time you look at it, you start to notice that it's slowing down. Before you could see every granule of sand individually going through that narrow part. As that happens, for the Sarge, you're merely staring into the flame itself. You can see every movement of the flame, the flicker of the whites, the reds, the oranges. You can feel a warm sense of that heat upon you, but it doesn't burn you. It's merely warm, it's inviting. As you merely stare at it, and each one of you around grabs hands with one another, Sarge, you seem to drift off, mesmerized by the colors and the undulations of the flame, the movement and the shape. You immediately snap to, and you're back sitting in that room where you made the contract. And with it, there's a single table and 2 chairs. And this time, sitting across from you is Rickson. And he beckons you to sit down. As you look behind you, you see the visions of Voldo, Rev, the doctor, and Danny, who's positioned behind them. Take a seat, and let's start. He beckons to you. What do you do?
I walk over and I sit in the chair.
Immediately as you sit in the chair, you feel a cold, chilly wind upon you, and each of you feel it as well. When you take a look around, all you see is just darkness and shadows. Nothing past maybe a foot or 2 in front of you.
So we're seeing this room in here?
Correct. There's nothing else inside this room except for that table. And the 2 individuals. He merely begins and he just goes, if you would like to rid yourself of Thendrin, or do you want to bend him to your will and force that corruption out? Either way, it's going to hurt. And you will not be the same. That is the penalty for making a foolish contract. Do you understand this, Gideon?
Gideon, he thinks about, like, now that he's surrounded by all his compatriots and everything, he, it's really like hit home to him now that perhaps he'd be better off getting rid of the sword, because he feels that, considering the past and everything, he may not be able to control it. But
Understood.
he understands that there will be pain, to rid himself of it.
As you think this, Rickson reaches out his hands and puts his hands on top of yours. Now that your hands are kind of placed flat on the table, and he just goes, I don't think you understand anything, unfortunately, Gideon. You don't understand. You think the pain. This could take your life. You are bound. You made the pact. You might not walk away from this.
Are we hearing all this?
Yes.
Go.
I need you to understand this. One does not simply find themselves in possessions of a soul tech weapon. If you choose to rid yourself of it, then you're probably going to lose your life. That is the
Correct me.
payment. Why is there somebody in the back talking? Just kidding. Go ahead. What were you going to say? I
Correct
was
me
in the
if I'm
middle of
wrong.
my monologue.
But you were given a choice to either be free of it, or how did you phrase it?
Or bend it to its will.
Bend its will. Bend it to its will. I would imagine that severing ties would be far more devastating and far more consequential to your potential health than attempting to bend it. Of course, there's always the chance that it'll try and work its way back and try and get back to your control, but at least you'll have an edge. I kind of want to say this. I kind of want to say this out loud. Just be like, Gideon, consider your options. Because I'm starting to think that together these weapons can do some serious crap, and they may be our only hope to get done.
That's what Voldo said.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what that, yeah.
You know what I mean? So, which is huge for me because again, this is like freaking. You know, I don't necessarily want to be involved with all of this like
Sure.
voodoo stuff in my head, you know, but it is definitely something that deserves my attention at this point. And there comes a time where there are too many consequences or too many coincidences to where you got to start finding some kind of truth behind them.
Okay. Rev?
But so however it's articulated or however I'm able to, I think I want to direct the question to now. You did give Gideon a choice, correct,
That is correct.
Mr. Crumb?
He's just
I'm gonna
merely,
go ahead and say-
just giving Gideon the possibilities to make him aware of what might happen.
I'm just gonna tell directly to Gideon, like, if you don't want to keep that knife, then give somebody else the option to subjugate it.
Reb's like kind of hearing all this discussion. He actually wants to try to reach out to his weapon
Mm,
and like while he's in this space,
sure.
he actually wants to try to reach out to Callisto in his mind and say, is there anything you can do to try to help get control over Thendrin?
Immediately, roll a mystical if you could, please.
Yes, for sure. That is a 6.
Okay. Immediately as you
I do-
think this and you say this, you feel a little hand inside your hand. And you turn and you look down, and there is that young little girl there in that red dress holding an umbrella, and she's holding your hand. And she really like looks up to you, and again it's that of a human face. But immediately for a split second, that face warps and distorts slightly, and you see big black Saldaran eyes behind it. And then it snaps back into that just young eyes of a human with green eyes. And she just goes, "There's nothing that we can do to help. It's something that he has to do himself. But we can support him in his fight. Thendrin is scary. Very scary."
Maybe you and your sister can help.
She looks at you and she kind of squeezes your hand and she just goes, "I don't think the machine guy likes her."
Rev kind of looks up at Doc, and then he looks down. He takes some getting used to, but he's a good guy.
And she just goes, "Maybe." Then she kind of looked up and she just goes, think it's gonna rain. And then you just see her just kind of fade away. Do you say anything after you hear and have this moment? Or is this something that you just keep to yourself?
Well, Rev actually kind of does want to look over at the doc, because the doc was the one who's talking about
Sure.
starting to see there's some value in these weapons.
Don't forget, Voldo said it as well.
Yeah, but Rev doesn't care much for Voldo's assessment after what he's done with both Fendrin and Teddy.
You're muted. You're muted, Mike, so no, we can't hear you.
You're muted, Mike.
I'll remember this next battle.
Oh, what are you gonna do? Shoot me again? It happens every battle, so
Maybe.
I'm prepared for more red rains, that's for sure. Rev actually does want to look at the doc and say, Doc, if you think that the Sarge can handle this weapon, you might need to connect to your weapon to see if she might be able to help.
Connect. I will say there's something interesting that happens when I actually present the blade. And I don't know if I just immediately forget when I holster it again or sheath it again, but I feel kind of like I have a new zest for life, if you will.
You definitely feel empowered every time that you
when I'm holding it.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the connection you're talking about, but I don't know how.
Rev says she wants to connect to you. You just have to open that connection.
In your ear, Rev, you hear the voice of Callisto again. She just goes, it might take some time. He doesn't have your touch. You might have to teach him. She'll be patient.
Rev kind of nods, and he just looks at the doc and says, it's not going to happen immediately, but it's never going to happen if you don't try to make it happen. We're talking about will here with the Sarge. What's your will like, Doc?
Point taken, Rev.
You get a sense in this as well, Voldo, mainly because you yourself have been touched by Minari and Starfire, and you have slowly just kind of find yourself open to almost whole new world here that you knew was there, but especially through Rev and through Danny now, that it's become a much bigger world. That hearing what the doc is saying, you kind of look at him and rings true that if you actually have been touched and it took you a while, he has never been touched, that it might be something that the three of you can maybe guide him in. It'll take time for someone like that, but you get a sense that that connection, that amplifier that Danny is, could help as well.
Because I did want to talk to him about Starfire,
Yeah, to him, it's voodoo. It's always the voodoo talk or the voodoo stuff. So to him, it's completely a foreign concept, especially for his analytical and scientific mind. It's something he just can't wrap himself around either.
Gotcha. All right.
As Rickson continues, he just goes, "Are you ready? Do you understand the risks?" He says it to you, yeah.
Oh, okay. Gideon, like he sort of like hears his own words and like he's reflecting on it, and he begins to think about like the times where he's wanted to give up and that he can't. He starts thinking like if I do follow through with this, getting rid of the sword, then I've abandoned my courage and my resilience, and he kind of like he looks at the group am I like cognizant of everyone there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, oh, okay.
You never turn around though, but you know that they're
okay.
there. You seem very connected to this moment you're having with Rickson.
Yeah, I guess he. Yeah, I kind of catch myself and I think about the possibilities of like actually following through and being like controlling the sword, and I start to think like I can't give up on myself again, and he tells Rickson, I'm prepared to attempt to control this sword.
He looks at you and he just goes, okay. So I ask you, is your soul prepared? Is your soul prepared? Is your mind prepared? Is your heart prepared?
I am prepared. Either
way, you must face him on his rules, in his world. Prepare yourself. Immediately he begins to chant in some kind of foreign language. It's not something that is relatively familiar to you, Doctor. You're thinking that maybe it's some language that maybe him and the Pillars of the Lost Dawn have created. But you get, if anything, you get the sense it's a chant. It's a prayer of some kind. You each feel a bit of warmth. You feel connected. You feel hopeful as he does that. Sarge, you feel cold. You feel angry. You feel sad. You feel disturbed. And immediately you feel a jutting pain in your chest. You look down and you see the tail end of a blade that has been shoved through you from your back into your front. You're completely bleeding. The bleeding won't stop. You want to scream, but nothing comes out. It's pain. It's searing pain. And then you hear a whisper in your ear, if that's what you want, then come get me. And immediately, you black out. Sarge, you find yourself alone in an open field full of roses, and a single tree sitting upon a hill in the distance. A gentle wind is blowing through the field, moving the roses and the leaves, allowing it to sway back and forth. You feel like you're in a dream, but definitely a dream that is not your own. It's a shared dream that you are now a part of. You can see the sun is now going down upon the horizon, and it's a cool dusk eve. There are no other celestial bodies in the sky. There are no stars. There are no planets. There are no moons. Only a crystal blue sky that seems to swim around with a water-like fluidity. A figure is walking towards you through the field. As it gets closer and closer, the figure is that of a middle-aged man. The man is wearing something that seems to be late 1800 Victorian style in nature. He's well dressed in a white suit and a slim black tie. He has a white top hat, very much like a bowler's hat, with a red band that sits upon his head. He's well kept, with a well-groomed handlebar mustache and a chin-puff beard. His eyes are green and stare directly at you. His skin is a slight shade of pink. You estimate he's probably around 6 feet tall, maybe more. It's hard to really judge. He's slender, as if a still breeze would knock him over, but he stands there with a large sword resting upon his shoulders. There's a bit of a smug look on his face as he gets closer. He's smoking a cigarette, and he's spinning in his other hand an oversized revolver. The revolver itself is black, just as jet black as the sword itself. The sword upon him is almost like a two-handed claymore type. Dark black obsidian-like sword with a black handle and a moon-like adornment upon the pommel itself. You immediately know that the sword is the sword of endless nights that he is now wielding. My name is Thendrin. Thendrin Wilhelm, the third of my name. I will break you one way or another, Gideon. No one betrays me. Welcome to my world of eternal sorrow. I will show no mercy. I am going to feed. Immediately he bows to you, tips his hat, tosses the cigarette, and charges directly at you. I would like you to roll reaction, please. As that happens, you all see the Sarge is standing there, sitting there, screaming out in pain. He's still just holding the hands of Rickson. He doesn't seem to be affected by anything that you know, at least outwardly, that you can physically see. And immediately he screams out like a curdling blood scream, and he disappears in a pocket of time and space that merely sits there right above his chair. Gideon is still holding out his hands, still feels that he is connected to this moment. Maybe he's even holding it together. What do you each want to do?
What the hell happened to Sarge? Should so we could still see his hands? You said?
No, his hands are still holding out, like where the Sarge's would be when he was initially holding him, but the Sarge is not there. But he still seems to be connected telepathically, mystically to this moment.
So Rickson is there.
Rickson is still there.
Okay.
He's still chanting as well.
Do we do like a mystical check just to see if we
Sure.
know what happened, where it went, or anything?
You guys just see that? Where's the Sarge?
I know he just disappeared into a pocket of time and space like I use, so I have a feeling
Crumb.
Starfire's behind it.
Crumb,
where's Sarge?
Crumb can't hear you. He's not responsive. He's connected to this moment. He's keeping this
Rebel do a mystic check with
this thing together. Yep, go ahead.
20.
Well, it's not a D20 ever. It's a D12.
Which one?
Go ahead, Rev.
Rev only rolled a 4.
Okay.
I got a 9.
Okay. Rev, you can see your eyes pick up well enough to know that he's been pulled into something. To what it is, you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But because very much as you hear the doc say, Crumb, what's going on? You get the sense that very much like how you have to focus for your soul chambering is very much what he is doing. But he's doing it on a much larger sense. So he's not able to communicate back and forth. He is connected. He is like the very thing that is holding this dimension together. To ask him anything would be to break that focus, which could break this dimension, break this vision. Voldo, you get a sense that it's very much, in some way, some kind of temporal rift. Very much like what you had Teddy was in, that pocket of time and space, which, interesting enough, now that you're here, you can feel the residual energy of Thendrin. It reminds you of when you actually, oh, that's right, I did have this. Okay, now this all seems a little bit eerily familiar.
Yeah.
But that this is some kind of other dimension. That's.
Is there any way I can use like my recognizance, I guess, of like Thendrin to figure out where?
You figure that you could attempt to try to open up that portal a bit more.
Okay, that's what
yeah.
my end goal is trying to open that up. Okay, then could I just try and
Sure.
follow for everybody? Do I D6 for it first?
Roll anybody who has mystical, roll mystical. You roll your temporal rift again.
I'll roll again.
That's a 10.
7 for my mystical.
Okay. Do you want to help him open his temporal rift?
If Rev can, he was thinking of like trying to put his hands where Sarge was to try to give him strength, but if he notices Voldo is trying to actually physically go there,
would Rev go?
Rev would go. He committed to helping, so he would go if it opens.
Okay, Doctor. They seem to be doing something, and yet you don't know exactly what they are attempting to do.
What are you guys doing?
I'm gonna follow him. I'm gonna try.
You can do that?
Well, no. Try.
I have a feeling he's facing something that he might not be able to handle on his own.
Exactly why I feel like we should probably get over and help him. I mean, you were dreaming last we heard, so that can't be good.
I'm gonna just make some haphazard, crazy attempt to just do something, and I'm gonna pull out the knife, and I'm just gonna look at it and just concentrate on it. I'm not expecting anything to happen.
What are you concentrating directly into it?
Concentrating on Sarge's safety, essentially. Because I'm at this point, I'm afraid he's like battling for his life, because all that stuff that Crumb said, I didn't realize it was like a serious
okay
risk on his life.
Roll a simple D20. We're gonna leave it up to fate.
I don't expect anything to happen. I just don't know what to do. I'm just worried.
Sure.
I'm just
Go ahead.
Just kind of like, dang, I can't afford to lose a member of the thing here. What the hell? Where is it? Oh, it's right. I rolled a 2.
Okay.
Can I see if I can, I'm going to ask everybody if they can all pull out their soul tech weapons, including Danny, because I want to see if, like you said, I know Thendrin, so I can follow his whatever wavelengths or something, but I feel like having the 3 soul tech weapons as almost like a base, they should be able to also recognize where he would be.
Do you present this idea to the rest of the group?
Yeah, I'm asking, everybody see if you can pull them out. We got to figure out how to get there somewhere.
Rev just says, I've been connected with Callisto this whole time. She's doing what she can to help.
All right. Doc, Danny?
Danny pulls out Teddy. And for the first time ever, Teddy doesn't talk. There's a pause before you hear Teddy just go, "Oh, wow. We're in here. We're in here's world, huh, buddy?" Well, that's quite interesting. What do you want us to do?
We can pinpoint where Vendron's location is. Friend Gideon
We can help
is currently
if the other two want to give me their strength as well.
Rev, yeah. Presents Callisto. Callisto, if you can do what you can.
Immediately again, you feel the warm embrace of a small hand that seems to be only you can see.
Okay.
She looks up and she just goes, "You're going where the rain's going, huh?"
Sometimes you gotta walk through some rain to get where you need to go, Callisto.
She lets go of your hand and she closes her umbrella and she points it directly at that portal and hole. Teddy, in Danny's hand, presents it forward. And for some reason in your hand, Doc, you can feel the vibration of the blade in your pocket as if it wants to come out. You don't hear anything.
Well, I have it out, don't I? I thought.
Okay. You immediately see that the runes glow on it, as well as that writing. And it leaps from your hand and directly to the portal, and it pierces the portal and opens up a completely large one. And immediately it snaps back into your hand. Callisto disappears. And you hear, "I told you guys, I could do it. Now it's up to you. Because I'm not going in there. That's his world. We all got our own."
appreciate getting us this far.
Did an ex-friend of mine, was that him talking? Yeah, remember that ex-friend, ex-good buddy.
Yep. Only if you were listening.
Danny puts him back in. Actually, she just goes, "Shh, shh, shh." He goes, "Oh, okay, Danny." Slides it back in. The portal is there open for you. Sarge, what did you roll for your reaction, please?
3.
Excellent. He charges at you, Sergeant. This is a fight or flight moment. You're face to face with Vendron in a field of freaking roses. What do you want to do?
Sarge is gonna meet his fate, and hopefully, like, he knows this is his moment where it's now or never. Like, he has to defeat Fendra.
The final countdown starts playing in his mind.
Okay. So what are you doing? You were first to react.
I'm gonna, like, charge right at Fendra.
Oh. Okay.
Okay.
It's
like a Braveheart moment.
yeah. What you guys can only imagine, and for anyone who's out there, it's the giraffe charging the rhino. It's a very National Geographic moment as these two lumbering things come colliding into each other. Who will win? Tune in next time. Go ahead. What are you going to do? So you're going to charge at Vendron.
Jesus.
What is your action?
I guess to start, I'm gonna take out the AP Buster.
Okay, so you're gonna charge and get your weapon ready, and then what are you gonna do?
Okay, I'm actually gonna.
You're gonna.
I think I'm just gonna.
You're gonna just unload on him in a running. Okay, I will. I will attempt to allow you to go ahead and do it. See if you hit, please.
His movement is slowed because of the size of his balls currently.
Oh, good
One.
point. Would you roll?
One.
Okay, so the first shot that you shoot is just high and right, and you're getting the sense that it's really hard to like run and shoot this thing at the same time, as well as being full of adrenaline. So go ahead, you fire twice. So what is your second?
I think for my other one, I guess I'll have to activate Mars program.
Oh god, dude, this guy is the biggest useless individual from Mars program. You do your AP shoots twice, is it not? So what is the second shot on the AP?
Oh, is it? Oh, that's right. It's got the.
You're supposed to do Mars program first, then you do.
Oh, that's right.
Okay, so well, you get a second shot on the AP. So go ahead.
Okay, so. Ooh, 11.
I don't know what 11 freaking does because you're only rolling a d6, Richard.
Oh, whoops! I'm on the D12.
Yeah, you gotta roll the d6 to see if you hit.
I got a 6.
Okay, perfect. Do some damage. So the first one you just shoot high, and the second one you actually slow down your pace there, and you let your big balls hang, and you use it a little bit as weight distributor, so you can fire a more accurate second shot. So go ahead. What do you do?
They're like
So
a
I
triple
do-
beam.
So 3d8 times 3. That's.
And this is what I said about the math.
So 9 times 3, 27.
27. Okay, thank you so much. Perfect. So the next one you fire hits him directly into his shoulder. It kind of snaps him back, but it does not even stun or even stunt the fact that he is just charging at you, angry, and you can see that he's like seething at the fact that you would even show up here. You then activate your Mars program. You turn this metallic red. Immediately, he just goes, "Fool, you keep doing things out of order. That's why I'm going to destroy you." With that one, he is going to do Runic Slash. He's going to immediately, he takes that sword off his shoulder. He takes a swing and it drapes himself in complete shadows, and he blinks 40 feet up right into you, and he just drives it directly into your chest. I'm going to make you my bitch. Okay, and I hit.
Oh.
You immediately feel just the stabbing sensation of this hot black sword just impaling you like butter. I'm going to do... I do 20 points of damage directly to you. And then he's going to pull it out, and then he's just going to swing directly back into you with another attack.
Oh.
This one, the good Sarge dodges and ducks just at the last second because you notice he was going for the head. This guy was going to headshot you. You are now directly in face to face in front of him. What is your next attack?
This will be a weird one.
I'm gonna cut
I'm gonna
those
try to do a
brass balls off
for
of
the
you.
win.
Okay, go for it.
Two.
Okay, so that one, you totally attempt to do it, and he just kind of grabs you and pulls you close, and he just headbutts you. Take another 3 points of damage from a straight headbutt. And hear him just go, "This is my world. You want to make me bend to your will? I will make you bend to mine." What do you want to do for your second?
Oh, I think utility.
Hurry up, Richard. Come on.
I think I'm gonna do a secondary heal. For the
Okay.
utility. I don't know if it's gonna do much. But
Go ahead and give yourself a heal.
4d6.
As you're just, your head's ringing and you're getting this pounding headache from this headbutt. The only thing you can think to do is reach into your pack and get your injectable, and you inject yourself with a healing, and then he just looks at you and he just headbutts you again. It fell on the floor. I don't know what happened. I have a second one. Okay, you take 3 points of damage. He just goes, "You call yourself a strategist? Fool. You use that when you lose more health." And he slams his head into you again.
Oh.
And you take another 3 points of damage. Your head is now ringing, and you can feel trickles of blood now coming down. He's going to, as you're up close and personal, he takes the sword and he drives it into the ground next to him, and then he takes his revolver and he just sticks it directly up underneath your chin, and he's going to fire directly into you.
I know it's like Three Kings.
Immediately, as you go to do that, you slap away and you grab a hold of his hand and you hold it, and he fires directly into the ground instead. And he's just like, "Oh," he goes, "Excellent, at last, a good fight." With that, he tries to pull himself away. I'd like you to make a power check to see if you can, if he pulls himself away, or you kind of hold and restrain him.
That one. Okay, that was a 7.
Okay, so he goes to pull himself away, and you immediately are just like thinking to yourself, if I don't start to do something soon, I'm going to lose this. But his headbutts, yeah, they sting, but that's freaking nothing. And you grab and you pull him in, and you headbutt him directly back in to him, which just snaps his neck back, and he's just like, and it knocks his hat off, and he's just like, he goes, "Yeah, excellent. Let's continue, shall we?" Immediately as that happens, Voldo, Rev, the Doc, you emerge from the portal in a beautiful open field of red roses. There seems to be a nice single tree that sits upon a hill, and you hear a back and forth of just muffled grunting and sounds of two guys that are headbutting each other back and forth right now.
That game?
I will allow you to decide what you want to do in this moment, as neither one of them have any idea that you have arrived.
We don't actually have our weapons, right? Because they wouldn't enter this. That's correct. Is that right?
Do you?
Well,
I think
I'd
just
like.
Teddy was the only one who said he didn't want to go. But that's because he's got some special deal with Fendrin, so.
Well, I thought he said none of them would go in because they all have their own space. I guess
That would
Reb
really
will reach for Callisto's Edge to see if it's there.
Ah. You reach back for Callisto and you pull it out, and in your hand is an umbrella.
Okay, that's what I was expecting. All right. Reb just kind of shrugs, looks at the other guys. What are we gonna do?
Do we have any of our normal weapons on us?
You have everything. If you guys want to just roll a quick examination check to see what you do have, if you want to do that, you can do that.
Sure. Well, Reb doesn't have anything anyway, so he's not gonna check.
Yeah, you have an umbrella, Rev.
I have an umbrella.
It could be
He's
the most
just looking
powerful
at
umbrella of all time.
it.
Would you?
I rolled 11.
11? Would you roll? 5? Doc, you do a quick examination. You have everything except for the blade of what is it called? The Blade of Endless
Skies.
Endless Skies. Yeah. Everything else that you have. The soul
Or
tech
Knife of
weapons
Endless
themselves
Skies.
cannot enter into someone else's.
All right. I'm going to deploy my Ion Guardian drone.
Okay.
And how close are we to them? They don't know we're there, so we've got to be some distance.
They were charging at each other, so they're probably 40, 50 feet away.
I'm going to move forward and deploy. Okay, I'm going to use 2 exhausts and throw a shield on Sarge and 1 on myself.
Oh, okay. Sarge, immediately as you're having this back and forth fight with him, you immediately notice that around you, completely, you're encased in a shell of blue plasmatic energy. You've been in something like this before, but you just didn't expect this here. Do you look back to see who presented this to you?
I look back like I'm startled, like the shield just appeared, and I turn and look back.
Yeah, and you see your 3 compadres, your cohorts back there. Rev is merely looking at this umbrella, and he's like, opening it, closing, opening. Nick, the good doctor, has his hand extended out, and you see just above you, spinning around, is his hat that's deploying the shield. And you see a shield on him, and he has his Iron Drone Guardian out. And then you see Voldo, who's there as well.
I just say, yeah, guys!
With that, Sarge, it's your turn, and then I need each one of you guys to roll reaction as well if you decide that you would like to intervene.
Rev is going to take a supporting role, but he will try to help the Sarge, basically. And he has a reaction of 13 minus... 13 minus 7. So 6 for Rev.
Okay. Voldo, what do you got? 10? Okay.
Yep.
Doc, what do you got?
Shit.
That's
16.
16, okay.
Assuming Danny and the rest.
Danny does not come through.
Yeah.
Because she has the weapon. Okay. Sarge, your friends have entered the space with you. What do you want to do? It's your attack.
Okay. See, right now, am I still grappling with?
Yes.
Okay. I am going to try. Can I actually take my exo wrist weapon and try to kind of break away from Fendon?
Sure. You can definitely attempt to.
Okay, so. Okay, so. I got a 6.
Okay, so it's a hit. So are you trying to use it to make an attack?
Yeah, to kind of just to break away from him or out of the grapple. That was okay, 3d4.
What do you got, Richard?
So 24.
24. Nice. Okay. Okay, so you pull out your exo weapon, Immediately you go to like stab and slice away, and he just snaps away and he backs off, letting go of your wrists, creating some kind of distance. You do some damage. You can see that you've sliced his nice suit up, creating like 3 little claw marks in there. What do you want to do with your next attack? What do you want to do with your next attack? Come on, Richard.
Oh, next attack. Okay, for the next one, I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take out the Exo Thrower.
Okay. Go ahead and do an attack.
Oh no, I'm bad. And then okay, and then I'm gonna try to attack with that.
Sure.
I got a 6.
Okay, that's another hit. Go ahead and do some damage. As you guys are watching the Sarge fight this guy, you get the sense that he's relatively
I'm not
fighting
hearing
him
any volume here.
close combat.
Mm-hmm.
I need damage, Sarge.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, for some reason I'm not hearing anything.
Yeah, not sure.
Can you hear any of us?
Did he mute himself? I guess he didn't.
No, he's not muted. I think. I don't know, unless his cord's out or he. I think.
Yeah,
you
I'm
could
not hearing anything.
deafen yourself, but I don't know if he would have deafened himself.
I didn't notice it was mute.
No,
Might be
he's not
cord.
muted, so I'm not exactly sure. Yeah, not sure. So it's. I don't know what his exo. Can someone take a look what his exo thrower is?
Yeah, I have it pulled up here.
Thank you so much.
Exo wrist weapon can be done in response. Rix retracts out its Calarium claws to perform a vicious melee attack. It's bleed.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what skill level he has, but if it hits,
I think it's only a 1.
if it's a 1, it's a 2d4 times 2.
Okay. If someone could just roll that for me, if possible.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? I got it.
You got it? Okay.
Yep. Cool. I got it. Okay. So he goes ahead and he does immediately. He pops out his exo thrower and he just unleashes a stream of fire directly at Thendrin, who immediately jumps back like 40 feet, and you can see that he's like patting out the flames from this really close, intense attack. As he's working with that, I need Rev. What would you like to do? As you hear that, you hear, my umbrella is really powerful. You should try it.
Reb looks at it. It's like, I guess I'll give it a shot.
Besides,
that exo wrist weapon also does bleed, by the way.
yeah, I already
So,
have. I have that on there.
You got that? Okay.
Besides, it keeps you dry from the rain.
Red looks up at the sky and it's a nice sunny day. He's like, great.
Can you hear us now, Richard?
Yeah, I got the sound back now.
Okay, cool.
Awesome.
All right.
Well, if Thendrin is distracted, Rev's going to charge and try to use Fury of the Jackal with an umbrella.
You
to
got
see
it.
what happens. He's like, I've never done this with an umbrella.
Umbrella attack achievement unlocked.
Fury of the umbrella. All right, I got 2 5s, so that's a hit.
Okay.
And this is 40, 10 times 3. Should I do the same damage, even though it's an umbrella, or?
We're gonna find out. Go ahead and just do your damage to see what an umbrella actually does.
All right, 5, 3. That's 8.
Yeah, I could just see Thendrin like, what
18.
the is this?
18 times
He
3.
just kind of like puts his hand up.
54, I think.
Yep.
Have
So
you
54
gone
plus
mad?
phase is what it would do with a weapon.
Okay, 54.
Yes, with phase.
Gotcha. Okay, so
Jesus.
as Rev charges, and it's a sight for each of you to behold. You've never did. Can you even imagine a cyborg running in, holding an umbrella over the top of his head, and he jumps, and as he comes landing down on top of it, there is a huge explosion of just water that just gets released everywhere. And you see that Thindrin just gets washed away a bit, and he like gets up and he's completely drenched, and he just looks up and he just goes, "What in God's name was that?"
Rev goes, compliments of Callisto.
And he just goes, "Damn that kid!"
Rev is going to back up the rest of his movement and then hold his bonus to be in response.
Okay. Voldo, you're up next. What would you like to do after you've seen this amazing tidal wave attack that Rev just did?
You said it pushed Thunderin away. How
Yeah.
far away?
Like 20 feet.
Uh-oh.
All right. Well, like a year. Okay, so then I'll go ahead and try and take my bow and shoot a couple shots into the sky with red rain. 6. Okay. 4, 5, 3, 12, 36.
36, jeez. Okay.
36.
Okay, your first perfectly as he's like getting up and he's just like, oh, what the? He just looks up and it's just like, shoo, 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 shoo. And he just like drops and you see these arrows just like piercing through him. And he's just like, God, what else? What else do you got?
I'm going to do that again. Why not?
Oh, jeez, okay.
6 again.
Oh, okay.
I love that dice. All right. 5, 4, 13 times 3, so 39.
Oh, jeez, all right. Okay. He like after he's just like kind of going, what else? Just drives him even farther down. He's like, Voldo.
Yeah, courtesy of me.
Doc, you're up after you've seen this.
I'm still tripping on the whole water umbrella thing. I just want to get Rev a look and be like,
Rev first. What the
I'm just going to tip my cap to Rev.
You don't have a cap. It's sitting over the top.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right.
Of,
well, Rev will
Sarge.
salute you back with the umbrella.
I'm going to, I spent the 4 to get my eye on Guardian drone.
Yeah, so you can go ahead and just roll a d20.
Out.
So it'll take his initial firing.
Oh, okay. Well, I spent another one, so it'll fire again or something.
Correct.
So I don't have to do a d6.
No, it automatically hits as long as the d20 determines. As long as you don't roll a 1, then it always hits. That's the benefit of the go. If you roll
So
a
it's
1, that's
already
the only
hit
time
once?
everybody. Well, it's about to. You got to roll a d20, please.
All right, I rolled a 1. Can I do prep trumps luck?
You always have the ability to do prep trumps luck, as long as you're spending the
All right.
exhaust or whatever it
9.
takes. Okay, so
Yeah.
that one hits. So what's the damage to an Iron Guardian drone?
It is 3d8 times 3.
All right, go ahead and do some damage, please.
All right, so that's 33.
Oh, jeez, gosh, dang Okay. You just litter this guy just with shots from your iron drone. And you can start to see that he is not looking good at all. He's also not moving because he's completely pinned down to the ground. He did not expect being shot twice by Red Rain. He's also completely drenched still. Just, I need to toss that out there. He is drenched.
Yeah. He's in a muddy little puddle right now.
So you do hit him.
Puddle.
What would you like to do? You're for your second attempt, or a second, whatever you got.
You know, I'm gonna walk up. I'm gonna skin that freaking that whip. I'm just gonna give him a
Don't
whip.
have your whip, man.
I'm just gonna whap, take that right on the back.
You know what? You go for it.
The razor whip.
Man, is that like an electrical whip? He's in water. It should like do a bonus combo if it's electrical or something.
I keep forgetting.
Damn, that thing actually does some stuff.
I know. I keep forgetting he's got the whip. Go for it. What do you got?
Dude, that whip really tears it up too. It's got phasing, restrained, and bleed. I don't know if it's all those.
Yeah, go. Well, it's restrained if you attempt to use it to restrain somebody.
Oh, okay. No, I didn't.
You're just trying to whip this guy. You're trying to give him the old-fashioned beating, dude.
Oh shit!
I'm guessing that means it's a pretty good hit. What is it?
It's to be 32.
Oh Jesus!
It's 3d8 times 2, so I rolled a 16 total times 2.
Okay.
Jesus.
So you see the good doctor walk up to him, pull out, unravel his whip, this wager whip, and just goes, whoosh, just one slap across the back of him, and you just go, bah! Fall down, not you. You got anything else?
No, I'm gonna back up now.
So he whips and then jumps back.
Yeah, be ready.
With that, he's completely at this point. Let me just verify if I'm still restrained. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm still waiting to pull out the rest of the arrows. Sarge, you can make an attack here, as you kind of see that the power of your friends here is really teaching him a good old-fashioned butt whipping lesson. What do you want to do?
We're trying to bend him to
well,
our will.
since we've had water arrows and that, I think now I'm going to try to do the exo thrower
Okay, you go for it.
and add some fire to it. Okay, so... 3.
Okay, so first one misses. Unfortunately, the power of Rev's umbrella tidal wave attack kind of got you a little bit wet as well. And the igniter to the old exo flamethrower needs to kind of like dry out a little bit. So
Rev wants to actually use Hasted Assault to give him another try to make a main attack again at 1 exhaust less.
Sure. Well, there you go. He's going to
So
allow you to
try that again.
Try it again
or,
at -1 exhaust less.
Yeah, 1 exhaust less. You could do that one, or you could do another main attack if you prefer.
Oh, okay. I guess I may just go. I guess I may just do the AP Buster. I guess.
Okay, point blank shots.
Oh.
All right, you know it's. I'm gonna give you 4, 5, 6. Go ahead. You got advanced accuracy.
Okay.
Please roll.
Oh, awesome. Got a 5.
That's
Nice.
Okay, that hits. Okay, what do you got?
Yeah.
Ooh. What do you got, Richard? Come on. Everybody else does their math faster than you.
32.
Oh, Jesus, dude. Okay. That's your first attack. You get to shoot it again.
Oh, okay.
It's always a 2-round burst. So it's automatic hit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so just give me some damage here. Roll for your damage.
10 times 3 is 30.
Oh my god, dude. Where do you guys get all this power from?
It's like, your game, man. You gave it to us.
Okay. As you just pump this guy full of 2 more shots directly into him, you immediately start to see that his body is starting to turn to ash. And he looks up at you and he just goes, "Ugh, it's not over yet. Not even the slightest. I admit that you're stronger with your friends than you are on your own. But your secrets are mine. And you're going to have to face them." And he just becomes complete ash that seems to scatter with the wind. And immediately you hear in wherever distance that is, the tolling of a bell. You turn around, and behind you, standing in a long dark coat that seems to go down just above her knees, and high boots and stockings, with on the boots there seem to be many buckles that reach up to the length of her knee-high boots. You can see long blonde platinum flowing hair tied up in a ponytail and a mask of planets and galaxies upon it. Flaring red eyes can be seen from behind that mask, and a large book is strapped on her back that she pulls out in front of her and opens it up, and it merely glows with runes that seem to manifest just above the open book and float there. On her hands are wrapped in white strips of cloth with some kind of like black, ashy, like charcoal symbolism, symbols that are written all over them. An ancient rosary bean seemed to be wrapped in each of her fists. You've seen this woman before, unfortunately. Stands before you as Miko.
Mm-hmm.
Well, well. My father who abandoned me stands now before me. Well, I guess I'm just a girl with daddy issues. And I'm just lashing out. And my choice for lashing out today is your death, Papa. And that's where we'll end tonight's session.
Oh, frickin' Miko,
Seriously?
man. Frickin' Miko.
Just following up Fendon. Now
Was this a
Miko.
setup by Crumb? Did he set us up?
Oh, yeah.
You're merely in... Remember, at the end, you're in Thendrin's world. It's not Crumb's.
Yeah, I know.
Never was.
But Crumb got us here somehow.
He's merely just the bridge to get you
No.
there. Very much like Rev is the bridge to...
Conduit.
the
or
bridge over
conduit to,
river.
to protect you.
The bridge over River Gideon.
Bridge over River Gideon.
Bridge over
Like a bridge over River Gideon.
Sail on, Silver Gideon. Your time has come.
That is the best song in the
shine.
world.
Miko on her way. I want to thank everyone who was here hanging out with us this evening. Thank you so much, Kira, for being here. I know I didn't say hi to you when you did jump in. I do apologize, but I just didn't want to break anything in regards to the RP here. Thank you so much, Philly, for being here as well, and thank you so much for that
Totally.
2-month sub. I truly do appreciate it. Any support that you guys give is always, I'm extremely thankful. You definitely don't have to
Awesome.
do it. So thank you very, very much. And for everyone else who might be hanging out and just sitting around and lurking, I thank you for being here. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're right here with me, and I appreciate that. And the great words of Jay-Z. I want to thank this amazing cast here. because they truly are freaking amazing, and they make it extremely exciting, extremely fun. Ryan attacked with an umbrella. I gave him an umbrella, and he
way better
did something with it
than a sword. Apparently, I can hit better with a freaking umbrella than I can with a sword, I guess.
The powerful umbrella of tidal wave dampness or something like that. I gotta give it some kind of cool name.
I need to trade a Callisto's Edge for Mary Poppins umbrella, I guess.
Thank you so much, Ryan, for being here this evening, playing the amazing Rev. Always, it's truly just a blessing to have you here. Thank you so much.
My pleasure, sir. What a great episode that was. Had a blast.
To the amazing Mr. Mike, who gave up Teddy this evening. Wasn't that hard of a decision? Come on.
He's been waiting for that, man.
Teddy's great.
It works well too, because like his attacks would like neuter me. He's only good in the beginning of the game because of his cold, but once you use him, you can't put him away. And his attacks are all weaker than my attacks, so
fair enough.
He just works better with her.
Fair enough. Fair enough. But thank you so much, Mike, for being here this evening. You're truly amazing as always. Gideon, aka Sarge, aka Richard, well done this evening. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for taking on Thendrin. Now you're going to take on Miko. How do you feel?
Oh, yeah. I thought it was awesome, and like when I phased out with the audio and I came back right to that tidal wave.
Oh yeah, that's right. You did. Yeah.
I came back right in the thick of it. I'm like, wow, something major happened here.
It was an umbrella, so
yeah.
Don't mess with an umbrella.
Yeah, thank you so much, Richard, for being here. I truly do appreciate
that was awesome.
it. And of course, as always, my brother from another mother playing the good doc. Thank you so much, Shane, for an awesome evening. I mean, you busted out the whip.
I straight whipped him. And that's how you bend someone to your will. You just
I wish I could use sound bites, because every time he does it, I just want to do.
yeah.
Rack that whip.
Rack that whip.
Yeah, good. Thank you again so much for this amazing cast here. Again, we only have one more episode next week that will end our season. We just lost Ryan here as well. And then we have our one shot for the Halloween that'll be coming up. Ryan, your camera's back off. Sorry about that. I guess we lost you there for a moment. And we'll have our one-off for our Halloween that'll happen on October 30th on Friday. We will all be dressing up for this amazing one-off, which is going to be called the Demon Manor of Shogieville. Okay, so October 30th, our Halloween session, the Demon Manor of Shogieville. We will have a special guest joining us as well. But again, that'll be on the 30th. We still have one more next week that'll end this season. And then we're going to have a break for the holidays. If you guys ever wonder why we do that, it's because a lot of people have things to do during the holidays. It's a busy point of the time for a lot of the people here, as well as I want everyone to be able to spend time with their family and enjoy those holidays and stuff like that. And then we'll be back end of January, beginning of February. Thank you again for being part of this. We'll probably end up doing a stream on Sunday evening where we'll be playing more ghost hunting. We're going to be playing Phasmophobia because it's the game everybody loves, as well as on Rand's channel this coming Sunday. I think it's 3 p.m. Central Standard Time for Ryan.
1
p.m. mine. We play Curse of Strahd. If you want to come by and check out on Ryan's channel, that'll be happening on Sunday evening. Sunday afternoon. Sunday evening we'll be playing Phasmophobia. Until then, thank you so much for being with us, being a part of this. You can always click on the YouTube to check out the previous episodes. And as always, you guys stay safe out there. You stay healthy. Keep it safe on the West. And keep it 3000, everyone. Good night.